What I'd like to do now is run through a complete visit so you can see how all the components, features, and functions integrate into a testing. If this is our first time in, we simply click the New button, click the last name, type in the last name, hit your Tab button, type in first name, and in this case I'm going to skip all the demographics, just go right to gender, press the letter M for male, and what's your date of birth?
January 1st, 1970.
Once I've got the required data in, I simply click the Save button, and then I'm going to select which tests I want. We always run the comprehensive and maybe 2 or 3 subtests. In this case, we're going to run an allergy sensitivity profile and the miasm influence, and then I'm going to look at my filter options, make sure they're set where I want them. I do want to test the baseline to look at the values on the organs and systems, and also measure how they respond to the remedies that we find. Once I've got all those identified, I simply click on the Start Test button. Then I put one electrode in one hand, one electrode in the other, and you can see it's calibrating for this patient. Once it's calibrating, now we're going through and we're looking at the energetic status of the various aspects of his body. And the patient will be able to read what we're going through. And then we'll review this all at the end. I don't try to review it right here because it's going so fast to keep up with it is near impossible. But what's nice is the patients are drawn into the testing parameters with the graphics that you see. Once we go through the baseline, we're now testing this filter list, and you can see it moving down the list. All these tests are pass-fail. If you pass the test, it moves to the next test. If you fail the test, it loads up all the remedies associated with that test. They're sent into the body, and through a process of elimination, their body picks what it wants to heal itself. That's one of the unique things about this system. It doesn't see gender, it doesn't see age, it doesn't see race, it doesn't see nationality. It just sees one biological entity's response to these signatures. And you'll notice in the hold tank, it'll show you the test that they failed and the remedy to correct it. And you can see we've gone through about 50 of the 75 available tests in the comprehensive. And once we're finished with the comprehensive, we'll then look at the inherited predisposition and some of the allergy patterns. And if the test fails, for instance, if we fail the neurological test, it would load up all the neurotransmitters. If they fail the hormone test, it loads up all the hormones so we can see which one is the issue and give us very detailed information as a clinician to what's going on and what we need to do to keep them healthy. Now we're nearing the end of the comprehensive analysis, and it's looking at allergens now. And you can see this is a 1-by-1 test. It's going through different categories to see where some of the main allergens are occurring. And now we're going through the phenolics. These are the smallest chemicals in any organic substance. Often neutralizing one phenolic can neutralize up to 80 foods or numerous plants or animal danders. And so you can see what we have done is went through all those tests, and if we look now at the baseline, you'll see his hypothalamus gland was an issue, and then I can ask him questions on the hypothalamus gland, whether he has any digestive problems, or there's sleep problems. So if I ask him and he has sleep problems, I would simply highlight that area, right-click, copy it to my notes. I would also read through the description, and if he has any of these symptoms, I would right-click on those, copy it to my notes. I would then go to the next area, we're looking at the reproductive organs, and repeat the same process to gather detailed information about this individual. If I look at the small intestine, he may have just physical discomfort in that area. I would highlight it, right-click, copy it to my notes, and do the same process so I can gather details about him. What I would then do is if you see these systems that had problems, these two responded, the hypothalamus only partially responded. So my next step is going to be to find a remedy just for the hypothalamus. So I'll go back to my Filters tab. I'll click on my Filters button and type in baseline. Then I'm going to click Search, and it'll pull up all the areas that we looked on the baseline. And in this case, we just want to test the hypothalamus. That was the only one that didn't respond to the remedies. So we'll click Scan. Mike's still holding the electrodes. It's going to load up all the remedies for the hypothalamus and say, aha, here's the best remedy for the hypothalamus. And then we're just going to take a look at that remedy, and it's a SAR code in this case, which is an optimum blueprint of how the gland should function. And I'll go over these in a little more detail as we review this. Then if I've talked to the patient before and they have any specific symptoms, in this case, Mike talked about having migraines, so we'll type in migraine. And we'll search the entire database for every product that can address the migraine issue. We'll then click Scan. It will recalibrate. It will load every single one of those items. We'll send those into his body, and his body will pick what it wants to heal itself. And so you can see for migraine, this was the remedy, and it'll give us the description. Once I've gathered all the symptoms, done my filter testing, and done any advanced testing, for instance, if I want to look at specific pathogens and see what's going on, once I'm completely done, I would then go over and click on each of these balancing items and ask them what they have in relation to symptoms. And see, carcinocinium is very interesting. Its description is an inherited predisposition to multiple allergies. They're usually food